Hey there folks, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now today, I'd like to talk about a sport that is said to be popular to play during the winter. Basketball. In my opinion, it looks like a challenging sport that involves 5 people per team running, dribbling, and jumping in order to get a ball into a hoop to score a goal. And I'll never forget the time during my high school years when I gave one season of basketball a try. And to be quite honest, while it was tough to shoot the ball into the hoops, it was still a lot of fun. But enough about that. Today we're going to go back to the 90s to take a look at a film that became the highest grossing basketball film of all time. Released on November 15th, 1996, the movie is Space Jam. So, let's get this game started. After winning the 3rd championship with the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan announces his retirement from basketball and declares his intention to play baseball like his father did. Meanwhile, deep in space on another planet called Moron Mountain, an outer space theme park, Mr. Swackhammer sends 5 tiny aliens known as the Nerdlucks to go to Looney Tunes land and capture all the Looney Tune characters and take them to Moron Mountain. But the Looney Tunes think of a plan to find a way to escape slavery on Moron Mountain, and Bugs Bunny decided to defend themselves by challenging the Nerdlucks to a basketball game. Then the Nerdlucks use their strange powers to steal the talent of 5 NBA stars, such as Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, and Sean Bradley, which they'll ultimately transform themselves into the tallest and muscular Monstars. So it's up to Michael Jordan to help the Looney Tunes play a basketball game versus the Monstars. But if the Monstars win, then Swackhammer gets the Looney Tunes along with Jordan to Moron Mountain. So, what do I think of this movie? Well, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I never saw it in theaters, though I wanted to. I just never got around to asking my parents to take me. But luckily, during the summer of 2002, my scout friends from Troop 604 showed it to me while on a bus to Camp Pahatsi, and I found it to be a very hardcore movie. But before I get ahead of myself, let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, the reasons why I like this film is the classic Looney Tunes comedy that happens throughout this film. We even get a chance to see a few clips from their cartoons on Swackhammer's monitors before he sends the Nerdlucks to Earth. Plus, we even hear the classic Looney Tunes theme music when the Nerdlucks enter the Looney Tunes world. In my opinion, the funniest parts in this movie is when Bugs Bunny references the Mighty Ducks. And there's also that part when the gang uses their spit to clean up the gym. Plus, I find it pretty interesting that one scene from this film was recycled for Looney Tunes Back in Action. I especially like the interaction between the live action and animation in this film. The CGI used for the backgrounds looks very realistic. This film is also full of classic musical hits, like I Believe I Can Fly, Fly Like an Eagle by Seal, Hit 'Em High by Be Real, Busta Rhymes, Coolio, LL Cool J, and Method Man, Basketball Jones by Barry White and Chris Rock, I Turn to You by All for One, For You I Will by Monica, and of course, the movie's title song, Space Jam, performed by Quad City DJs. But in my opinion, the basketball game between the Toon Squad and the Monstars is the best part of the film. For example, 2 mice give an epic introduction to each team member, Marvin the Martian plays as a referee, plus the Toon Squad gets to do all sorts of crazy cartoony things like Acme weaponry and old school cartoon gags. Plus, the finishing goal was very epic when Michael Jordan stretches his arm to get the basketball through the hoop. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, let's talk about the characters and their actors. So, let's begin with our main character, Michael Jordan. In the movie, Michael is an NBA shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls who retired to pursue a career in baseball. In my opinion, Michael is a hardcore basketball player, and I like that he accepts to help Bugs Bunny and his gang win their freedom. Plus, he makes a great basketball coach. Next we have Stanley Podolak, a publicist played by Wayne Knight, known for being in films like Hercules, Toy Story 2, Tarzan, My Favorite Martian, and of course, Jurassic Park. In the film, Stan is assigned to help Michael Jordan in order to make sure that nobody bothers him. Sometimes I find Stan to be a pretty weird guy. I mean, he does make an okay basketball player, even though he got flattened. And he makes a really sneaky spy when eavesdropping on the Monstars' plans. On the other hand, though, he makes a good best friend character. Other actors who appeared in the film included not only the 5 NBA players, but also Bill Murray and Larry Bird. Next we come to Bugs Bunny, the leader of the Looney Tunes, voiced by Billy West, whom I remember from Invader Zim. In my opinion, Bugs is my favorite character in the Looney Tunes. I mean, sure, he's hilarious and clever to outsmart anybody, including Elmer Fudd. However, here he makes a great leader, and he's determined to succeed in winning his freedom from Moron Mountain. Daffy Duck is voiced by D. Bradley Baker, whom I talked about before in my Box Trolls blog. While Daffy isn't as popular as Bugs, he's still very funny, especially when he almost gets torn apart by Michael's dog. Next we come to Lola Bunny, a female rabbit who plays for the Toon Squad, voiced by Cat Susie, whom I talked about before in my Annabelle's Wish blog. To me, Lola makes a great basketball player, and she also makes a sweet love interest for Bugs. I also like that she ties her ears up like a ponytail. Also, she's one girl who does not like being called a doll. Trust me, you don't want to do that. The rest of the Looney Tunes are voiced by Bob Bergen, Bill Farmer, Maurice LaMarche, and June Foray. Thank God 2016 didn't take her. Next is our villain, Mr. Swackhammer, voiced by Danny DeVito. Known for being in films like Matilda and The Lorax. Swackhammer is the proprietor of the intergalactic theme park, Moron Mountain, who seeks new attractions to save his failing business. The Nerdlucks, also known as the Monstars, are Swackhammer's henchmen, who were sent to Earth to capture Bugs Bunny and the other Looney Tunes, and make them Moron Mountain's newest attractions. To me, when they're little Nerdlucks, they can be pretty, well, silly and cute, but after stealing the NBA players' talents and becoming Monstars, they're huge, ferocious, and scary. But at the same time, they can be pretty hardcore and still pretty funny. So now, let's move on to my final words. Overall, Space Jam is a great basketball film to watch. I mean, yeah, it may have a few flaws, but still the interaction between the live action and animation is interesting. The characters from Michael Jordan and the other NBA players are cool. Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes are wonderful and funny. The comedy is classic, and the basketball game between the Monstars and the Toon Squad is hilarious and awesome. So, if you guys should ever get a chance to check this movie out, do so. It's a film that both fans of basketball or Looney Tunes should watch at least once, especially when they have kids. I give this film a rating of 79% out of 100. Well, that's all for now, everybody. Be sure to join me again next time. Mustang Power!